What is up, scrubs? I'm back with another archetype review this week for red and yellow, since now we have the red spoilers, which just came out after some highly controversial posts by our wonderful admin team, which I thought was pretty hilarious. Um, anyway, before I get into it, because I'm just going to end up diving right in, I just want to give a special shout out to all the scrubscribers around the world, all 67-ish of you. I appreciate your subscribes, and I hope you enjoy the content, because I know I really enjoy delivering the content and talking about the game as much as possible. So again, I appreciate it. Again, please be sure to check out intricategaming.com. You can find us at We Are Intricate on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. We've been doing a lot of Twitch streams lately of live gameplay as well as doing some gameplay on Octagon, so please check that out on the Twitch channel. It should be archived, so you can check out some gameplay there of Set 2, which is pretty awesome. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So we're going to start with Metacooler. One of the new archetypes that was brought into the game by this set is essentially Metacooler spanning infinite Metacoolers, and then having the win condition of the 5-drop Awakening Core Metacooler to give them all double strike, including himself. So that's one of the ways that this deck can win. What I really like about the leader is that it's interesting what you want to do because of the way the cards are in the deck. So you actually want to pressure your opponent pretty aggressively. That way, when you get the opportunity to play the 5-drop Awakening Core Metacooler, you're getting to awaken yourself even though your opponent might not be attacking you, which is really cool. So the deck really revolves around your 1-drop being Big Getty Star, and of course you can play the Core Metacooler, the 1-drop Core, if you wanted to go that route, which you certainly can, and it can be pretty effective because the 7-drop just gets better, which we'll talk about next on the next slide. But pretty much that's going to be your turn 1 play, tap, try and find, play a infinite Metacooler for free, and then build your board state from there, because once you build an overwhelming board state, like I said, you're going to be able to then drop that 5-drop Awakening Core Metacooler, evolve yourself, and give all your guys double strike. So it's a really cool deck. I have it built on Octagon myself. I have been playing with it a bit. And the Awaken side, making your opponent have to rest somebody, is really cool, especially with the new card that was introduced, Death Razor. So you just activate, tap one of your opponent's dudes, and then Death Razor that dude, which is really powerful because it just kills any rested character. So there's no constraints on how much that character has to cost or anything like that. So this is just really good removal once you get to the backside. And then of course every single time you swing, you're going to mill yourself and grab a Metacooler or a Metacooler Core and put it in your hand. So this helps you find your 5-drop, your 7-drop. It helps you find a 2-drop if you want one and put it into your hand. And that's another thing that's really underrated about this strategy, is that since you play all these 0 plus 5k combos, you have the ability to, of course, stay alive really well, so you can protect your life total. A lot of times, you're going to get a lot of value out of actually playing the King Cold 4-drop, which will reduce all your Frieza Clan's overcost of 5 by 2 energy. So that takes Awakening Core Metacooler, makes it a 3-drop. That takes your 7-drop, makes it a 5-drop. So it just makes the deck more efficient, allows you to close the window quicker on the opponent, which I'm a really big fan of. And this deck is actually really aggressive, so be sure to try it out when the set comes out, or if you are on Octagon, you can try it out. You just can't use the 7-drop. But either way, you'll learn a lot, especially just because the 5-drop Awakening Core Metacooler is so powerful. So you can make your first builds around that, just so you can get a feel for the leader. ESPN. Next we have the Metacooler Payoff, which is Infinite Force Metacooler. This is if you want to go that way, if you want to have the Big Getty Star underneath you by using the Awakening Core, the 1-drop. And so this will give you the ability to, when you swing or when you play this card, and Big Getty is underneath you, choose up to 2 Metacooler from your drop area and play them. So that means any of the 2-drop Metacoolers, and then even the 5-drop Metacooler if you have that in there as well. And then you have Activate Battle, and you can do this as many times as you want on the top text. You can place 1 Metacooler from your battle area to the drop area, and you gain 5k. So you can make yourself real big, which is pretty cool. So I don't think this is the most impactful 7-drop in the game. I don't think the 7-drop wins you the game on the spot, unless you hit the perfect storm and you invested in that 1-drop core and then you evolved into it, so you have the Big Getty Star and everything underneath it. But I really like having a Big Getty Star out, because sometimes you'll just get free Metacoolers. So again, this is another build of the deck that you can test out. especially if you're going to be running the 4-drop King Cold, which I really like because it'll reduce the cost to 5. So that is Metacooler. I think it's going to be one of the cool aggressive decks in the format. It's definitely going to take a lot of people by surprise of how fast it is, especially once you put the 5-drop down and all your dudes have double strike and you've just awakened. So pretty cool deck. The next is going to be actually my favorite yellow archetype from this set. It's actually the standard cooler leader that mills himself. Definitely has a lot of comparisons to Dredge because there's a lot of stuff that you're going to be doing throughout the course of the game to have access to your discard pile, especially your best card, which is your SR, which I'll be going over here in a bit. And then also there's a lot of synergy with the squadron. So you have Salza, Dore, Nice, or Dees, whatever, that can all find each other out of the drop area, which I think is really powerful. So don't take the plus 5k really as something that you're shooting for. I mean, yeah, it's great once you awaken and you're trying to push for damage, but it's not necessarily that's not something that's necessary in order for you to win the game. And again, this deck has a big payoff of playing the 4-drop King Cold by reducing the cost of all your 5 and up drops significantly, which again helps you get to that later game faster. In this deck, you're actually going to want to run the 3-drop cooler to be able to evolve your coolers, because essentially if you can get, at that point, it's only costing you 3 yellow to evolve, you basically then are going to have the ability to play your 7-drop a lot faster, and that can close out games real quickly. So with that being said, we can go to the SR. This is the reason why you play the deck, because this card is insane. You play this card, activate main once per turn, remove 1 of your battle cards from the game, and choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards to switch from the rest mode. Choose 1 Cooler's Armor Squadron or Frieza clan other than Cooler from your drop area and play it. So there's a lot of things you can do with this card, especially if you get to play it super early. Whether it be King Cold or whether it be Evolve, because you have that Metacooler that allows you to evolve all your coolers for just 3 yellow. There's a lot you can do, and that's why I included some stuff on the slide here. So for instance, we have the 7-drop Frieza. If you want to get a triple striker, I was able to close out a game really easily because I just got the 7-drop cooler, removed one of my guys from the game, and then grabbed the triple strike Frieza and was able to swing. And then what you can also do is you can grab the promo Frieza to be able to look at your opponent's hand and see if you can go for game, or if you want to grab Mecha Terra Frieza because you're going to be tapping 2 people down, and then that's free removal, and that's another body, and it has double strike and dual attack. So again, you can go for game. So I think this deck and this leader is highly underrated. It is a synergy-based deck, which I'm a huge fan of, and it gives you really big payoffs for truly building around the leader and building around the 7-drop, which of course we're trying to accelerate out there as quickly as possible. So this deck, please try and build it, try and test with it when the set drops, and you'll really be surprised by how powerful it actually is. So next, we have Chilled. Chilled's cool. I think Chilled's really cute. Playing games with it, I don't feel like mono yellow is the best color pairing. I feel like going with something like green probably works the best for you, just because of all the great cards that green has access to, and because in Chilled you don't get a lot of benefit from playing a lot of the yellow cards, because the cards that were made for him are really just these 3 cards that I have here on the slide, which are just the 2 different minions, and of course the 5-drop Chilled, which the 5-drop Chilled is great. Makes all your tokens that you're creating with the leader able to be comboed with. You can combo with them in the rest area, and then you can combo with them even if they're in rest, and then you also have the ability to give your 5-drop triple strike. So again, another aggressive strategy in yellow, which is cool, because yellow, you look at it from the first set, is definitely more reactive, aside from the just mono Ginyu strategies if you're going for the Ginyu force. But this gives you another ability, like another way to be aggressive, and I really like Chilled making a token each turn, because it's a way to be able to, in the early game, just play an energy, swing, create a token, and then pass. You just got a body on the table. You didn't have to pay for it. It's a way to maintain card parity. And then, of course, Awakening at 6 is a big deal, because you're now drawing cards every turn, and you're continually putting pressure on the opponent. So I actually really like Chilled as a leader. I really like the things that Chilled can do, and I love the 5-drop Chilled. It's extremely powerful. But I don't know. It's all about the tokens. If the tokens are all 0 costed or even just 1 costed, it gets blown out by a lot of the regular sweepers that came out. I really hope that they are 0, mostly because of flavor, because Bardock, of course, does kill the squad and kills Chilled. So that'd be really cool. But of course, that would make Chilled virtually unplayable in a format where green was really heavy or people were sideboarding into green. So I really like Chilled as leader. I think he can do some really powerful things and pressure the opponent in the late game without having to give up cards, which I think is really strong. And then using your tokens as a resource is really cool. Whether if it's the 4-drop, you putting one of your tokens in rest mode to tap one of your opponent's characters down and then killing that character, or it's the blocker, picking up an additional 5k, things like that. But the 5-drop is where it's at. That's your payoff, and that's where you're building the deck around. Other than that, you don't have to build a really high curve in the deck, and that's why I really like going dual colors. You're going to have a lot of free slots in your deck. So, cool. Give it a shot. You can play it on Octagon right now, since a lot of the cards you need are already in there. So go ahead and take some time, build it. Be sure to put some tokens in one of your side piles on Octagon. Whether I use the Paragus because he's a 10k, but that's just me. All right, now we're gonna get into red. Archetype. Hand advantage is for scrubs. If you like having lots of cards in your hand, this is not the archetype for you. This archetype wants to be fast out the gate. He wants to put pressure on the opponent. It wants to get its hand size really low, and it wants to get the payoffs from playing really powerful, impactful stuff early by paying cards for it, such as the. I really like Mighty Mask being able to go into the drop zone from play to get more like a Goten or Trunks. I like those being able to fetch your Gotenks, and I like being able to evolve into the 4-drop Gotenks straight from hand, which I think is really awesome. Then you have the 5-drop Gotenks, which is that card's really powerful. I really like this card a lot. It's a 20k body that provides 3 additional 15k bodies. So you're looking at 45 plus 20, 65k worth of stats. And if your hand size is low enough, they all have double strike. So this card, really strong. But the only thing is, it is 3 red to cast it. So you're going to have to play in either a mono or just a splash strategy. I'd probably recommend splashing blue, just because you want the untap ability just in case things go south, especially with cards out there like Cold Bloodlust to be able to strip that ability away from you, and then you just end up sinking that energy and having no ability to recover. And that's why I think blue gets even better this set, because a card like Xenobutton being able to untap your energy is extremely powerful. I do really like the direction that the color is going in. It's getting a different identity, which I think is awesome. The Goku leader is underrated. Mostly the Awaken side. Being able to give yourself 5k for an entire turn on defense can prove to be really annoying. My only issue is that the front side, it doesn't allow you to stay at card parity with the opponent at all unless you're dropping energy and passing. So you're not getting any virtual advantage on the board. The best thing you can do is make yourself bigger, or make yourself bigger on offense or bigger on defense. So the front side is where the deck really struggles. And that's one thing about this archetype when looking at all the cards that have been revealed, including the SRs that were spoiled. There's only one true payoff for having a really low hand size. And that's the thing that kind of bothers me about this archetype, is there's only one card that really rewards you. Gotenks rewards you once you get him down, but there's only one card that gives you what you need in this archetype and this strategy, and we'll go to that on the next slide. It's the Gohan SR, because essentially I think they should have made more cards like this. I think you should have made more cards if you have less cards in your hand by a certain amount, similar to this has like 3 or less. It reduces the cost. I think there should have been more cards like this in this set. I think this would have made the strategy a lot more legitimate. Whereas if this is the only payoff, being behind on hand size and waiting to draw this card, or trying to get down to this card, if your opponent has an answer for it, if they have the ability to just stop you from killing a battle card and inflicting 2 damage and then playing their own Beerus on their next turn, you're going to be down to 3 or less cards, and your opponent just has a huge advantage. So I really like this card, and I wish they would have made more cards like this. So for right now, I'm not too sold on the archetype itself, but I do see the potential, hopefully within the next set, or the set after that, they continue to go down that route and give you more payoffs for reducing your hand size. Because in this game, from what we all know, resources are really important. Not only the resources that are on the table, but also the resources in your hand, because as we have talked about before, cards are knowledge, knowledge is power. So we need to make sure that we're maintaining card parity with our opponent a lot of times so we don't fall too far behind, especially when you get to the later parts of the game and your opponent's playing 5-drop tanks and drawing a card so it's replacing itself, or it's playing a Prince of Speed or something like that. So you're going to need to play this in a different color as well. So again, when you play this, you're not getting completely wiped out by a counterplay or something like that. So I really like the Gohan SR. I really like where the strategy's trying to go, but I don't think I'm sold yet on it. The card that I really like in red, like the most, is I think Jiren is incredibly powerful. Being a 20k double striker, swinging at an active battle card, untapping, and then have the ability to swing again, whether it be a leader or another battle card, is extremely strong. It's something that's going to be really threatening to an opponent to be able to wipe out their board state, or just to put pressure on them in a way that they didn't expect. And he gets to be protective, because if you just want to untap him and leave him up, you can. So that's a character I'm looking forward to playing with. And that's another thing. I wish they would have went further down that archetype in this set, and they really didn't. Like, they gave us a mixture of things, and that's always really rough whenever they give you a mixture of different archetypes that don't work together and have no cohesion, because you end up running into these problems. I do think that the Buu-based decks, so decks that revolve around Majin Buu, are actually going to be really cool, because of you're going to want to play Gotenks, you're going to want to play Gohan because of the different absorbs. So that's a deck that I actually think has the most cohesion from red this set. So other than that, that's my thoughts on hand advantages for Scrubs archetype. Alright, next is Bobity's Evil Plans. 1-drop Hercule. Hercule's the champ. He's the man. He fetches Buu. He looks at the top 7. This is your premier 1-drop that Red really wants from this set, because there's so many different Buus that you can play. So I'm really excited about it. Bobity himself, basically when he comes down, you get to put the Majin Buu sealed ball into play, and once you get 5 cards under the sealed ball, you can go fetch the 10-drop Majin Buu revived, which inflicts 1 damage when coming into play. And that's one thing a lot of people haven't talked about, is how the 10k Buu, I mean the 10-drop Buu, also has 0 plus 5k combo, which I think is really awesome. So you can play multiple copies of it and not feel super bad, which is great. Bobity's Awaken side, you have the ability to give one of your dudes 5k for the duration of the turn, which I think is actually pretty okay. The only thing is I would just wish he had a way to buff himself. But what's cool is you don't have to pay a card for that, and it's for the duration of the turn. But it's only during your main phases, not during battle. It'd be much better if it would be during battle. And then of course it has once per turn. Your battle cards, when your battle cards attack, draw 1 card and place up to 1 card on top of your deck underneath your revive ball. So the way it looks like this deck's trying to play, it looks like it's trying to awaken early, which it can because of the awakening at 6, which again, I can't stress how good that is in this format going forward, awakening at 6. But it's really going to accelerate how fast you can get that Buu out. One thing that I wish that Majin Buu's sealed ball would have been lowered in cost, because you're really only going to be able to play 1 in your deck. You're never really going to get to 10 energy, which it's kind of sad. I wish they would make it maybe 5 cost or something like that, because you have to work so hard just to get Buu out by getting 5 cards underneath it. So that's one thing that I wish they would have kind of worked on. I do like that you have Spopovich and Yamu in the game, and when they attack, you're able to put a card underneath Majin Buu's ball, which I think is awesome. I like how Majin Vegeta also works with that strategy. And the Buus, being able to, the 5-drop Buu being able to evolve into a Buu really easily was great. So being able to pay, I believe it's just 2 red. Yeah, you just pay 2 red for evolve, and then you can just play this card on top of, yeah, Red Majin Buu, play this card on top of the card, so just evolve for 2. And then you have Union Absorb. The only thing is he doesn't have any other stats besides that. It's just really just meant to chain, so you can grab one of your bigger Buus. But that's really about it. I think that card's really cool, though. And then you have Prodigy Absorption Buu, which has double strike, and then if Gotenks is underneath him, that's really cool, because like I said, this is where you start to get that cohesion. If Gotenks is underneath him and your opponent has a card in the combo area, he's indestructible, can't be KO'd in battle, which again, I think that's really cool from there. And then of course we have the biggest payoff, which is another reason why, like I said, Bobbity or the Boo-based decks are going to have the most cohesion, is because of the SR, which wants to have, essentially, ideally, the 6-drop Gohan underneath this card. Because then you have activate main once per turn, choose one of Son Gohan adolescents under this card, and for the duration of the turn, this card can attack battle cards in active mode and gains all the skills of the chosen card. So whether it be the 6-drop one, so you can inflict 2 damage on the opponent when you kill them, and of course it says dual attack, so it can get really disgusting, especially if you swing, kill something, untap, swing, kill something. You just did 4 damage to your opponent's face without having to try that hard. Or if you want to use the 3-drop promo, the one with double strike, or when it sings draw a card, you can draw 2 cards off of this, or you can basically have dual attack, double strike. So this 7-drop Boo is your payoff for the Boo-based strategies, and I think, like I said before, there's the most cohesion of this color of this set, all built into the Boo strategy. So that's a deck I'd like to see going forward, people work on, is how to make the Boo decks work the cleanest. So make sure it's smooth. Mono red looks like it's going to have to be the choice. I can see going green if you want to play the other Gotenks, if you want to play the Prodigy-based Boo that evolves from Gotenks, but this card's real good. So playing mono red might be a really good option for you. And of course, if we go back to Bobby's Evil Plans, that slide, we have Mind Control Bobbity, the 6-drop, and when he comes into play, you get to look at the top, I believe, 7 cards, and then place 2 super sweet. Yeah, look at the top 7 cards of your deck. So it's and choose up to 2 red battle cards among them, 25k or less power, other than Bobbity, and then play them. So this means this can play the 6-drop Gohan for free. It means it can play the Gotenks for free because they're 25 and 20 power. Yeah. So that card is absolutely insane, especially if you wanted to do something like red-blue. And then you can play stuff like Princess Beats for free, or if you want to do red and green, play Super Saiyan Gotenks for free. So 6-drop Bobbity is a disgusting card. The only thing is, again, red's biggest weakness coming into any set, even last set, is its weakness to yellow. So that's the only drawback or downside of playing this strategy. But again, your opponent has to have the answer to you, and if they don't have the answer, they're probably going to get blown out by 6-drop Mind Control Bobbity. So again, if you're worried about that in the format coming up, you can probably pair red with blue. It'll give you a lot more success because you have the ability to untap some energy, so you don't get crushed too bad if they were to counter you. So the last, it's not really a red archetype, but it's a red leader that's, from testing so far, really good. And I'm more of a fan of the, I call it the good stuff strategy, where basically you use your Goku and Vegetas as your energy base or mana base, whatever you're more comfortable with. And so that gives you access to multiple colors, and then playing really high impact cards in less numbers than you would, because you need to make sure you have plenty of space for Goku and Vegetas to support your energy. But being able to have access to them. So for instance, you can run Beerus in the deck, you can run Jiren in the deck, you can run both 5-drop Gotenks if you want to, you can run Raging Attacker, Vegeta. The 5-drop promo Goku in testing has been extremely strong. Double Strike critical, taking a life, that's incredibly powerful. And then Kind Sun makes the deck work. This is your 1-drop play, no matter what Goku you put down as energy, you play this as 1. And I really like to use it as fetching my energy for the next turn. Unless my only option is to take like the 5-drop Goku or something that I really want to save. But I really like using Kind Sun as that fetch. So just fetch another energy for the next turn. Now you have 2 energy of any color going into your second turn. Which again, this is where things start to get a little crazy, because now this deck can also run, it can run different negates. Right now I really just run Coercion and Mafuba because Mafuba is great. You can run additional removal for Gohan's Awakening from green. You can run the Father Son Kamehameha. Like, you have access to all 3 different colors, which is extremely powerful. So the version of the deck that I really like is, I call Vegeta Good Stuff, that deck. Shout out to you-know-who, it's in the title of this slide, but hello. But anyway, I think that's the thing that makes Vegito so good, is not necessarily jamming your deck with Gokus and Vegetas, but jamming your deck with enough of them to give yourself a really solid energy base so that you can go nuts with your high impact cards and just play them with no downside. And then, of course, you can run a card like Xenobutton in the deck. So on defense, you want to tap all your energy or all your Gokus or Vegetas that you have in your energy pile. And so the deck really kind of gets out of control, especially in the later parts of the game. And I like that bundle of Curiosity came out because, again, it's a cantrip, so play that. Draw card. So there's a lot of ways to stay at card parity. And then just, I can't stress enough how good the deck actually feels when you play it. Just having all these different tools that you can use, and then the promo. I can't stress enough how good the promo is. Evolving for 3 energy, that's too good. So evolving off your Kind Son or your bundle or whoever's in play for 3 energy and getting this effect, so powerful. So that card's probably going to end up being really expensive, so I highly recommend trying to get your hands on it. I believe they're the Dash promos, so make sure you're buying plenty of products so you can solidify that you have these, because you're going to need them for the Vegito deck. But anyway, this is a deck I really think everyone should mess around with now, because a lot of the cards you have access to, unless you want to run stuff like Jiren like I do, so I can only use that during live testing, or have to proxy it in Octagon, which is a pain. But this deck, play around with it, mess with it, and you're going to see just how powerful Vegito is by running just a lot of good stuff in your deck. So similar to how the 3-color Ginyu just runs the best cards in 3 colors in set 1, this card kind of does the same thing, but to an even more dramatic extent, because of just how great having access to 3 different types of energy on your table really is when you want to play these different threats. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That is it for the archetype overview for red and yellow. Going forward, throughout the next week, I'm going to be doing more Octagon testing, and hopefully printing out proxies and doing live testing with some friends, or playing games against myself, because I do that a lot just to determine how stuff feels. And of course, getting prepared for the battle, the championship, and the release this week at Atlantis Comics and Games in Portsmouth, Virginia. So if you were in the Virginia area, make sure you go there. They're doing a 2-part event. They're doing in the morning the shop championship, and then in the evening at 6 p.m. they're doing the Union Force pre-release. So make your way there. Anyways, please be sure to subscribe if you would like to see more of this content. Also, feel free to give me feedback, whether it be negative, positive, whether if you think I'm really bad at this, that's cool. And also, things you just want to see going forward. So if you want to see different types of videos, or videos like this, or more strategy-based videos, just give me feedback in the comments. I truly appreciate it. And again, thank you so much, and I hope you get good. Thanks. Okay, bye!